never begin, so make every effort today to start something new. On that note, I welcome you to News Generation. My name is Faustina Safo. Coming up in this week's edition, approximately 80,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer annually in Africa. Plus, government is set to reintroduce sanitation task force known as Town Council this August. And the Ministry of Education is set to allow heads of second cycle schools admit students on protocol under the free SHS policy. All this and more we have lined up for you on News Generation today, so do stay.
Lonely Mr. also has a problem with his radio.
Mission time!
My big brother always stealing my cowbell coconut milk power cable. Check. Circuit board, check.
Hanger, cowbell, mug, check. Radio, check.
More flavors are better than one. Cowbell is fortified with protein, mineral, vitamin A, C, D, E, and K to help you complete the mission. Cowbell comes in coconut, strawberry, choco malt, and Mr. Owusu's favorite, mocha. There's something for everyone.
Mission accomplished!
Welcome back from that quick 10. Remember, you can join our conversations online. Find us on Facebook at News Generation GH and on Twitter at NewsGenGH. Now to our first story. The mayor of Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Mohammed Ajay Sowa, has reaffirmed government's commitment to supporting initiatives aimed at improving sanitation. Mohammed Ajay Sowa explained that the quest for the improvement in sanitation in the country forms part of the government's vision to improve health outcomes for economic growth and development. Dorcas Wedu has been speaking to him, and she has more in this report.
Addressing management, teachers, parents and pupils of God's Grace International School on its 30th anniversary and 17th Speech and Prize Giving Day, Mohammed Ajay Sowa, Mayor of Accra Metropolitan Assembly, announced that the Assembly will reintroduce sanitation task force known as Town Council by the end of August.
Those of us who patronize the tricycles and the motorcycles, that when they come to our houses to collect our refuse, we hardly know where they dumped it, but they dumped it in your own environment. So when the refuse is evacuated from your house, it doesn't end at the landfill site. I urge parents here to be real ambassadors for this project. That we cannot continue to live in an environment which is full of filth and we don't care. By next week, we are sending all our summer people into your houses. And because I am here, I have made a lot of friends. If they issue the summons to you, please don't call me. So let's get ready for the task ahead of us. That we can't continue to litter the streets. You empty the sachet water and then you place it on the streets. It finds itself into the drain, choke it. When it rains, then the water cannot find its course. It blocks it and it diverts the water into your homes. It gets flooded. The floods that we experience in Accra, it's man-made and not a natural disaster.
Member of Parliament for Kankwe Central, Patrick Yalboama, who was also present at the event, encouraged parents to invest in their ward's education.
Now my attention to the parents. Mr. Chairman, parents and guardians, I wish to use this platform to ask you to continue to help your children with the right education. It is our duty to give them the best education that we possibly can. Excuse my language. We cannot, as parents, fail our wards. The best investment is quality education, which is the bedrock of a successful education. Although a parent's role in their children's learning involves a child growing one thing or remaining constant with ensuring that they adhere to the growing trends within the global economy. We are children and we stand to be good role models in the near future. Our attitudes about education can inspire and show them how to take charge of their own during their educational journey, Mr. Chairman. We should also contribute our quota to ensure that our children attend school and are provided with all the needed basic support from home.
Speaking on the theme Quality Education Meeting the Challenges of Our Time and Beyond, the managing proprietress of the school, Joanne Addison, challenged educational institutions to adopt innovative ways of teaching.
The theme for our 30th anniversary is Quality Education Meeting the Challenges of Our Time and Beyond. This is very important, especially in our current times, where there is so much talk about the dissonance between our educational system and the requirements of the open market. As the workplace evolves, we, the educational institutions, have to evolve with it. Gone are the days of the streaming all children into the core subjects and other theory-oriented disciplines. We now have to reorient education to expose our children to problem-solving, acquisition of skills and languages, individual and collaborative activities, entrepreneurship, self-development, and most importantly, a strong sense of self-worth and patriotism. It is only in this way that our children will be able to meet the challenges of our time and beyond. And that is what quality education is all about.
The occasion was also used to award pupils that excelled in various subjects.
Interesting. There are more reasons why you should keep your environment clean. But moving on, heads of second cycle schools will be allowed to admit students on protocol for sports and other consideration under the free senior high school program. Education Minister Matthew Opoku-Prempeh says such admissions will be formalized through the computerized school selection and placement system.
Implementation of President Akufo-Addo's flagship campaign promise of free senior high school begins in September. Beneficiaries will pay no admission, library, science center, computer lab, examination and utility fees. The policy will also cover second cycle agricultural, vocational and technical institutions. There were fierce protocol admissions which have suffered under the computerized school selection and placement system will be abolished. Dr. Opoku-Prempeh, however, says the old age arrangement will stand.
I do understand and I do know that there's an issue of protocol. There is an issue of sportsmen and women. I am not going to cancel it, but we have to get those details before CSSPS comes out. When CSSPS comes out, the day it comes out, parents will see it, schools will see it. There's not going to be any lag between the day parents get it and schools get it. So I'm closing the rent seeking in my office. When we say rent seeking, it's a lovely term for bribe taking.
The Education Minister is in Kumasi to meet with the Conference of Education Directors, heads of second cycle schools, as well as metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives. The consultative meetings form part of government's engagement with stakeholders on the implementation of the free senior high school policy. Meanwhile, Dr. Opoku-Prempeh says the procedure used to determine student intake in schools will remain. He, however, warned heads against acts of bribery in the admission process.
As heads of school, you had a criteria for taking day students and boarding students. That criteria is not going to change. At least for the basics, it depends upon the number of beds. Because children cannot sleep standing. They have to sleep lying. And I'm saying that we have used the CSSPS. We know how many students were placed in Prempeh College in 2014, 2015, and 2016. Till you prove to us what we have done differently in your school to increase the numbers, we will let you stay within your quota ranges. So we will still be interacting with you till we finish, and we'll publish the guidelines and we'll give you all the guidelines. So your day and boarding arrangements, Charles knows it, you know it. Those coming from afar first, like that, to those around Prempeh College who can be day students from Adwatu. Rent seeking in relation to boarding and day, you should consider it carefully. Rent seeking in relation to boarders and day, I'll caution heads to be careful. Because I'm meeting district chief executives today, and they will be appointing free SHS coordinators. If one person is found out that he or she took money and placed somebody who is not qualified as a boarder, it's only he or she that will face Ghana Education Service.
Approximately 80,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer annually in Africa, and just more than 60,000 die from the disease. But these deaths are not necessary, especially as cervical cancer is preventable and treatable if detected early. That's the message from staff, management and pupils of the Aristolan Montessori Center, who organized a free screening for patients who may have the disease at the school premises here in Accra. There's more in this report.
Themed Partnering for a Healthy Community. The center aimed at reducing the mortality rate of women with cervical cancer through free screening and vigorous sensitization in communities. Head of Reproductive Health at Ridge Hospital, Mavis Apetu, who was there to educate the women on the cause, preventive measures, and treatment of the disease, warned teenagers that early sexual intercourse before the age of 20 put them at a higher risk of contracting the disease.
The main cause of cervical cancer is by human papilloma virus. Cervical cancer is caused by a human papilloma virus. It's a germ, okay, usually found around the genital area of both men and women who are infected. So unlike the breast, that the cause is unknown, cervical cancer, the cause is known. And we have predisposing factors. And these predisposing factors, definitely if women know about the predisposing factors, then they'll be able to prevent the disease. 1, early sex before 20 years. 2, having sex with multiple partners or partners having multiple partners. Smoking is a risk factor.
She said sensitization programs will go a long way in supporting the fight against the disease.
Annually, as of 2012, 3,052 women were diagnosed, out of which 1,556 women died. One develops the disease over a period of time, from 10 to 15 years. Then the disease can develop into a full-blown cancer. But since it has no early signs and symptoms, that is why we encourage women to come for screening, so that when the disease is detected very early, it can be treated.
Cervical cancer is caused by long-standing infection in the cervix, which can often be successfully treated if discovered at an early stage through a test called a pap smear. For News Generation, Faustina Safu.
There's more news in local news round.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on Monday, July 31, presented the mid-year budget review to the Parliament of Ghana. The main budget he presented earlier in the year was hailed and christened the Asempa budget, or Good News budget, for a number of reasons, including the scrapping of import duties on spare parts. The duties were, however, not removed until a few weeks ago due to some bottlenecks. spare parts traders at Abose Okai in Accra are not happy it took that long, but they remain optimistic the effect will eventually be felt. A group of operators involved in retailing of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, have staged a protest in Tema against a recent directive by the National Petroleum Authority banning the LPG vending stations from refilling cylinders. The directive is aimed at curbing accidents arising from gas explosions at these filling stations. Instead, the cylinders will be refilled at gas bottling plants. But the operators are outraged, saying they will be thrown out of business and are appealing to the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to intervene. Drivers plying the Techiman-Winchi Road have been left stranded after efforts to tow off a truck which somersaulted on the wing of the road proved futile. The truck, loaded with racks of bottles, collided with another truck whose driver has switched on his fog lights, blinding the driver of the oncoming vehicle in the process, hence the accident.
We're taking this quick break, and when News Generation comes back, we'll tell you more about the free SHS policy. To stay.
Lonely Mr. also has a problem with his radio.
Mission time!
My big brother always stealing my cowbell coconut milk power cable. Check. Circuit board. Check.
Hanger, cowbell, mug, check. Radio,
check.
More flavors are better than one. Cowbell is fortified with protein, mineral, vitamin A, C, D, E, and K to help you complete the mission. Cowbell comes in coconut, strawberry, choco malt, and Mr. Owusu's favorite, mocha. There's something for everyone.
mission accomplished.
Welcome back from the break. Remember, you can be part of our conversations online. Join us on Facebook at News Generation GH and on Twitter at NewsGenGH. Now, a section of the public believes that government free SHS policy is not a policy for all, but for brilliant students. To affirm their fears, the Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, during a press conference, revealed that students held back during their secondary education for non-performance will not be catered for in their extra year for the study under the free senior high school education policy. News Generation stepped out into the schools to find out what you make of this, and you have been sharing your views with us.
My point of view, I think the free SHS will be okay because it will encourage students who don't perform academically well to sit up and learn because it will be free. Your parents won't pay for anything. So those who are also going, it will be good for them. And those who are not financially, they don't have money to pay for the SHS things, it will be okay for them because Nanado will provide everything for them. So I think it's okay.
From my point of view, I think the free SHS idea is a good one. It will help the brilliant people who are facing financial problems and to also spare weaker people to do better in their academics. But the negative side of it is that those about to write the upcoming BEC next year, they'll try all the means to cheat so that they can be admitted into the SHS for free.
I've heard about the free SHS program and I think it's a very great solution to help those who have financial problems in the country. But I think there's also a bad side to it because people who want to get free SHS education can cheat during the BEC, and I think that's the only bad side of it.
Well, from my point of view, I think that the idea is very brilliant because students who are, financially challenged may benefit from the program. I also think that it should be given to students who are academically good but also needy.
The free SHS program is good because it's going to motivate students to learn hard. Then they can obtain the pass mark, which I've heard to be grade 16 to 20. And I also think that is bad because it's going to make the students who are now going to SS lazy because they think they've already obtained the mark, so they are not going to learn hard. But all in all, it's a very good policy. It's going to help the needy but brainy students to get a good schools and obtain their future aspirations.
I think the free SHS program is a good idea because it enables students to further their education. I think that there's a grading system there that if one does not achieve a certain grade, he will not be able to move to the next level of his education. I think it's a bad idea because if a student is trying his best, even though he or she is brilliant, but wasn't able to reach the mark, the students will not be able to move on with their education.
You can also share your view with us on social media platform, Facebook and Twitter. Tell us what you make about the free SHS policy and all the conditions attached to it. But after hours of exhibiting their inborn talent and abilities, 14-year-old Christopher Shen was adjudged the winner of the second edition of the Apostolic Church of Ghana District Talent Hunt competition, which came up at the church premises at Nungwa. There's more in the following report.
God, I require for life. God has given me everything you want in life. The Lord can make it for you. Hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah.
Christopher Eshen beat stiff competition from 14 others at the grand finale held at the church premises over the weekend. The young preacher stole the hearts of patrons with his confidence, transition, and in-depth knowledge of the word. He was presented with an undisclosed cash prize along with products and souvenirs from sponsors. 9-year-old singer Louisa Tete placed second, walking away with textbooks and souvenirs from sponsors, and Rahel Adote came third. Newsgeneration spoke with Christopher Eshen.
I worked hard. When I'm asked to do something, I go and do it. When I'm asked to come for rehearsals, I come. And I pray for God's help as well. That's why I could win.
District Church Secretary Elder Benjamin Tagbo, applauding the efforts of participants, charged parents to invest in the grooming of their children and mold talent.
Bible says that children are an heritage from God, and they are also a reward, or the fruit of the womb is their reward. And anybody God gives this very gift, He expects that you take very good care of the gift or the very heritage that He has entrusted into our hands. For God giving us these children, we believe that we have a great responsibility to take very good care of them.
For Newsgeneration, Faustina Safo.
Let's check out what else has been making headlines around the world in international news round.
Anthony Scaramucci has been sacked as Donald Trump's media chief. The former Wall Street financier had drawn criticism after calling a reporter to give a profane-laced tirade against his own colleagues. President Donald Trump's chief of staff, Reince Priebus, and spokesman Sean Spicer both left their posts after Mr. Scaramucci's appointment. Chief of Staff General John Kelly, sworn in on Monday, sacked Mr. Scaramucci. The president was also unhappy with Mr. Scaramucci's performance, according to the White House. Mr. Trump's spokeswoman, Sarah Sanders, said the president thought Mr. Scaramucci's comments to the reporter were inappropriate for a person in that position. More than half of university students in Australia were sexually harassed at least once in 2016, according to a national survey. The Australian Human Rights Commission report also found that almost 7% of students were sexually assaulted on at least one occasion in 2015 or 2016. Women at university were more likely than men to be assaulted or harassed, the Commission also found out. The study of 39 universities and 31,000 students found that sexual assault and harassment had occurred in varying degrees in all university settings. It defined sexual assault as being when a person is forced, coerced, or tricked into sexual acts against their will or without their consent, including when they have withdrawn their consent. Los Angeles has officially declared its candidature to host the 2028 Olympic Games, leaving Paris to stage the 2024 edition. In June, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, voted to name hosts for successive games, with Paris and Los Angeles bidding, but it was unclear which would host in which year. Both had wanted to host the 2024 event. The funds will include money to pay for the extended planning period and to support youth sports programs leading up to the Games. Los Angeles Bid Committee Chairman Casey Wasserman earlier said both cities now stand together, ready to serve the Olympic and Paralympic movements.
Now to the part I love. Shatter Movement fans are undeniably taking over. 4 young boys have shown that they are ready to join the SM family as they stole the hearts of their school students during their Our Day celebration, and they put smiles on their face as well, singing Shatter's song. Let's take a look on what's trending. So I'm sure people will be wondering right now, with the way these children are learning fast when it comes to lyrics, shouldn't we put a ban on some of the lyrics that some of these artists churn out in their songs? Yes, I'm sure we'll have a debate on that in our next edition. But that's all for News Generation today. It has been quite an interesting episode. You found out about cervical cancer, what it is. We also took you to some talent hunt where we saw a lot of people displaying their talent. And then, of course, the wonderful views you shared on WhatsApp. But remember, you can still be part of our family online on Facebook at News Generation GH and on Twitter at NewsGenGH. If you want to send me a personal message, you can find me on Twitter at FaustinaGH and also on Facebook. Faustina Staff will send me a message and I'll be sure to reply. Well, do have a wonderful day as you enjoy the rest of our programs. For myself and my crew, adios.